I have been waiting to be able to say this for some time. Down goes Steve King. Down goes Steve King. Down goes Steve King. And he'll be replaced by someone probably just as bad. But in a five-way primary, Mr. King was defeated by Randy Feenstra, a state senator who had the backing of mainstream state and national Republicans. If you don't know who Steve King is, my sweet summer child, I'm glad for you, but we have had to deal with him for some time. JR, how do you feel knowing that this is probably the end of him?
Well, I feel like he's kind of admitted that. It's maybe it's emblematic of where things are going. So weeks, probably for months, I've been very uh, negative about the potential direction of the country. Like I've almost given up on people, not necessarily the country, because we have a lot of good folks here still, but just like the way that we're approaching things is so backwards that I was like, yeah, it doesn't really matter. But things like this, maybe this is one of the things we'll see later, because right now it's lesser on where everything else is going on. But this could kind of be seen as a symbol of the direction things are going. Because Steve King did not serve one term. It's not like he went in there, they discovered he's racist, and they finally turned on him. They supported him and backed him, knowing everything he believes and says and thinks up until now, because it finally got blown up enough. It became a national enough story that people in, Florida, people in North Carolina, people in California, Washington were like, yeah, so that guy, Steve King, hadn't heard much about him, but he's a rabid racist. It got spread, and then to the point where even the Republican Party couldn't continue to support him. Yeah. They had to go, okay, we give up. We have to let go of one racist.
Yeah. Although, look, good news, fireworks, ice cream for everybody. But the guy that's replacing him, Feenstra, when you go to his website, the first thing that pops up is NRAA rating, national right to life, a pro-Trump effective conservative that delivers conservative results. And that message is actually pretty consistent with the way he went after Steve King. Because although, as we're about to show you, Steve King is one of the most enthusiastic white supremacists in the past 20 or 30 years, that isn't what Feenstra attacked him on. He didn't have a problem with the things he said, or at least he understood that criticizing Steve King for those things would not help him to win a Republican primary. No, he just attacked him as being powerless, that Steve King had lost his committee assignments, he couldn't deliver for the district. It wasn't that he was a horrible, horrible person who literally endorsed a candidate for office who would use the 14 words of neo-Nazis, like an out-and-out neo-Nazi Steve King endorsed. That wasn't what Feenstra campaigned against. It was just, well, sure, he's a white supremacist, but he's an ineffective white supremacist. So we need someone effective, is what we need. So bear that in mind.
We need a white supremacist with teeth. Make sure he cuts through all of it and bites down hard. It's not surprising. This is how these things work. And don't think there wasn't some kind of a level of coordination between them stripping him of all these chairmanships or positions on these committees, to think that they didn't now open the door for their candidate to come in and say, hey, he's got no power. That's how it works. You think they didn't coordinate it? When the RNC and the most powerful people in the party back someone, they back them. They don't back them and hope they do well. They back them and make sure they do well.
Yeah. Now, he's gone. But on his way out, I thought it would be fun to do something, I think for the first time. I haven't told JR about this, but I happen to have my trash handy. And I thought, since we're in the habit occasionally of pointing out garbage people and throwing them away, wouldn't it be nice to throw someone away, hopefully for good? So, Steve King, it was not nice knowing you. It's going to be delightful to no longer think about you. But on the way out, I want to let you know why he's been consigned to the garbage can for the rest of his life. And if there's an afterlife, probably for that as well. Let's run through a few of the lowlights of Steve King. Back in 2006, before Trump had his wall, Steve King had his. He had a model on the House floor, a 12-foot concrete border wall topped with electrified wire. He said, yeah, we want disincentive for people to climb over it, so we can electrify the wire. We do that with livestock all the time. In, 2013, he said, for every one who's a valedictorian, talking about the dreamers and, immigrants and things like that, he says, there's another 100 out there that weigh 130 pounds, and they've got calves the size of cantaloupes because they're hauling 75 pounds of marijuana across the desert. Those people would be legalized with the same act. Does he have any idea how much marijuana it takes to make 75 pounds of it? But that's what he thought these people were. They were not, people contributing to our society. They were just drug runners, effectively. He said in 2016, I would ask you to go back through history and figure out where are these contributions that have been made by these other categories of people you're talking about? Where did any other subgroup of people contribute more to civilization than the white man? Okay, let's jump to, let's see, is this 2017, 2018? He has his tweet here with Gert Wilders, another horrible individual I haven't thought about in a while, saying, wishing you successful vote, cultural suicide by demographic transformation must end. So as the demographics of a country change, that is how a society commits suicide. And finally, and this is what lost him those committee assignments and led to him being ousted, he said, white nationalist, white supremacist, Western civilization. How did that language become offensive? Why did I sit in classes teaching me about the merits of our history and our civilization? Yes, white supremacist. When did that become a bad thing?
Did it happen? And, he also tried to talk that one down too. So honestly, as you said, he's been going through this for his entire career, his entire life. And so finally, when that last line kind of did him in, he felt the way many white supremacists and racists in this country do. Donald Trump's in office. The gloves can now come off. I can say it more openly now. It's not like, it's a fine line of openness with him because he was pretty damn open before.
Yes.
But now I can really say it and they'll back me. And you know what his main problem is now? He's like, damn it. It's supposed to work this way. You told me, let's go full racism. Let's go openly and blatant racism. And you guys turned on me. That's actually probably where in his gut he feels betrayed. He's like, we're all racists.
Yeah.
What you're going to act like you're not now just to get me? That's his problem.
Yeah, he's got to be, man, Steve King's got to be watching. He's like, Trump just called the protesters thugs like 3 days ago, and you're sending me out? Totally. He had like the Star of David in talking about like during the camp, like he gets to do it, but I don't. How unfair this world has become.
Yep.
Good riddance, Steve King, the first to be cast for all times into the trash. Probably won't be the last. For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.